The internet is a place that has things and situations. And the internet is an old place with old things and old situations on it. I love the old internet. I love archiving things. I love exploring things, and anything about the internet, I'd put it up my butt. I would literally put the entire internet in my ass if I could.
This strawberry weighs about 50 grams, which according to Russell's sites also happens to be the weight of the entire internet.
So a friend of mine in my Discord server recommended me this website called Wiby. And Wiby is basically a search engine for the old internet. You can type it in the search bar, or you can hit the surprise me button and it will take you to a random website. Now, I've seen some other content creators do videos with Wiby. I don't know if any of the websites that I'm going to talk about in this video have been covered, but I did find some really, really cool things that I wanted to share with you. And I wanted to bring more of a not creepy light to the old internet. I feel like a lot of things on the old internet are like, this man microwaved and ate his 3 oldest children and then posted pictures of the sucked clean bones to this obscure Japanese website in 2004. I feel like that's like a lot of videos on the old internet. Sometimes it's fun to just absorb the simple and rudimentary things about the old internet, like learning how to make blowtorches with Pop-Tarts, or like how aliens from the planet Yilhamar staged Tupac's murder. But anyways, I explored a bunch of these websites and I just kind of saved the ones that were the most intriguing to me. And before we jump in real quick, most of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed. If you want to subscribe to me, that'd be great. If not, I can only hate you for so long. All right, so let's go right into this first website, ronpatrickstuff.com. And it's about Ron Patrick's street-legal, jet-powered Volkswagen Beetle, which this is all insane to me. I appreciate this guy for doing this, and I think this is a really cool project, but also the amount of being an absolute mad lad it takes to do this is insane. This is a pretty old website. I think it's from like 2005, and there are some videos and old fragments of the internet that still talk about this car. This is my street-legal jet car on full afterburner. The car has 2 engines, the production gasoline engine in the front, driving the front wheels, and the jet engine in the back. The idea is that you drive around legally on the gasoline engine, and when you want to have some fun, you spin up the jet and get on the burner. The car was built because I wanted the wildest street-legal ride possible. With this project, I was able to use some stuff I learned while getting my fancy engineering degree to design a street-legal jet car without the distraction of how other people have done it in the past, because no one has. I don't know how fast the car will go and probably never will. The car was built to thrill me, not kill me. That doesn't stop me from the occasional blast on the highway though. He claims the car was built to look as if VW delivered the car this way, which I don't think VW is bringing out any cars that look like this. This is insane. Can you imagine how loud this must be on the interior? You need some serious hearing protection. Woo! That is a big fireball. Street racing action. The other guy wimped out after a few big fire demonstrations. What you see in the picture is about 1/20th of the full size of the fireball. Guy standing beside the car had never seen it run before and was smiling ear to ear throughout the show. Had I launched, I would have burnt him to a crisp. Well, live and learn. I don't think you live or learn anything when you get burnt to a crisp. We get this a lot. A police officer picking his nose while trying to figure out what to charge me with. Notice the hopeful anticipation of us on the right. We're rooting for him and offer suggestions, but unfortunately, the California Department of Motor Vehicles did not anticipate such a vehicle, so he's out of luck. Update 7/18/06. You have to give the California Department of Motor Vehicles, the DMV, credit for creativity on this one. A DMV insider has disclosed to me that the DMV has made a formal request to a federal agency to rule if my Beetle constitutes as a threat to national security based on what could happen if it got into the wrong hands. This raises 3 questions in my mind. Number 1, does this mean I'm the right hands? Number 2, if someone with the name B_Laden13 is the highest eBay bidder for my Beetle, can I refuse his offer even if he has the prestigious eBay Red Shooting Star feedback rating? The highest? Number 3, would this affect my eBay rating? And then the rest of the website is this. It's just a jet-powered moped. This is a death trap. An actual certifiable death trap. This is crazy. You would have to pay me at least $500,000 to sit on this thing. geocities.restorativeland.org/Baja/Cliffs/1673. That's a mouthful. This website is a trip. I can't read everything on this website because it would actually take me forever. But basically, this website is detailing how aliens from the planet Yilhamar, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, staged a lot of big rappers' deaths because they like the music so much. They come and they steal these rappers, stage their deaths, grant them immortality so that way they can produce music for the aliens. And somehow also, Lady Diana is in there. Jerry Springer, I guess, is also there. Amelia Earhart, Biggie Smalls, they're all chilling out together, I guess. Let's learn about the truth of Amelia Earhart and Biggie. Did the famed flyer die on a desert island? No, she fell through a space-time wormhole and was abducted by the gray aliens and is kicking it with Biggie Smalls on Yilhamar. The truth must be known. We, the children of the Thug Immortal, for those of you that don't know, the Thug Immortal is Tupac, have uncovered the truth about the pilot Amelia Earhart. One internet news source says, quote, "It's been 61 years since Amelia Earhart disappeared, somewhere over the Pacific, and the mystery is still maddeningly unsolved. Now, researchers at the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery say the pioneering aviator may have died on a remote Pacific island. We know the truth. She is alive and well, and kicking it on the Gray's planet with our immortal, bigga N-word, the notorious B.I.G. How Amelia disappeared. A space-time malfunction. It appears her plane was in fact a flying time machine that the US was using as an experiment. Sources within the CIA and the Yilhamarian intelligence community tell us that the US were using Amelia's flying capability to test whether or not it was possible for a human to travel at light speed. But the experiments created a wormhole that landed her in another part of the galaxy, on planet Yilhamar, in another time period, ours. The Thug Immortal influence. Tupac tells the Greys who Amelia Earhart is. It seems that the Greys had no idea who this lady was who claimed to be from another time period on another planet. They asked Tupac to help identify her after they found her unconscious after a crash landing. "So they came up in my crib, right?" said the Thug Immortal, "when I was hitting skins with my royal thug Diana, right? And I was like, hold up, what the f y'all doing busting up in an N-word crib while he getting his swerve on and shit?" So they chilled out and told me I needed to identify some white bitch. I was like, hold up, the only white girl I know is laying right here beside me and shit, so what I gotta do with it? Di said that I should go help out and that it must be important. So I got dressed and shit and went to the place with them. I looked at her ass and I didn't know who she was, but I saw her f***ed up looking plane and said, "Yo, you that Amelia Ear bitch." Yo, you that Amelia Ear bitch that was flying around the world back in the day when they wasn't letting N-words become pilots, right? Shit, girl, what the hell you doing here? Ain't you dead? So the Greys started talking all that space-time shit, and I said, oh, here y'all go again, fucking with celebrities' lives. I asked them, yo, is y'all gonna let this bitch go? Cause if she been gone this long, ain't nobody missing her ass on Earth. At least not black people anyways. And then apparently Amelia Earhart meets Biggie Smalls and she doesn't want to leave or something, and then yeah. There's a lot more to this story, but if I kept writing it would go on forever. If y'all want to read it, the link is in the description. There's a lot to cover on this website, and I can't cover everything. pmachad.com/toast. This website, if you didn't read the title already, is about strawberry Pop-Tart blowtorches. Last updated, August 1994. That was from before I was born. Strawberry Pop-Tarts may be a cheap and inexpensive source of incendiary devices. Toasters which fail to eject Pop-Tarts cause the Pop-Tarts to emit flames 10 to 18 inches in height. Last year, an article by well-known newspaper columnist Dave Barry noted that Kellogg's Strawberry Pop-Tarts, SPTs for short, could be made to emit flames like a blowtorch if left in a toaster for too long. Given previous work in the field of food entertainment, it was obvious that this was a new frontier that requires further exploration. The present work describes their independent verification and experience with SPT-based combustion. And basically he says that, he grabs the strawberry Pop-Tarts, he grabs a toaster, he grabs the strawberry Pop-Tarts that don't have icing on it, even though in the picture it looks like there is icing on the Pop-Tart. Is that icing on the Pop-Tart? Is that icing? I don't know. Experiment preparation. The toaster and SPT both had to be properly prepared for this experiment. In order to guarantee that the SPT would receive sufficient heat to begin combustion, the toaster was set to its highest setting and the lever was jammed in the down position using adhesive cellophane. Tape. A SPT was removed from the box and its protective packaging and carefully placed in the toaster slot. Next, the toaster and SPT were taken to the driveway and an extension cord was arranged to provide power to the toaster. At this point, we were ready to begin the experiment. The toaster was plugged in. First, the toaster went through a normal toasting cycle, which more than thoroughly cooked the SPT, By this point, we were definitely detecting a burnt SPT aroma. The toaster then attempted to eject the SPT, but was prevented from doing so by the adhesive cellophane. Tape! The toaster then began emitting loud rattling and buzzing noises due to its inability to eject the SPT. Soon thereafter, large amounts of smoke began pouring out of the toaster. The researchers noticed that some of the neighbors down the street were beginning to get a little curious, but the experiment proceeded nonetheless. Approximately 40 seconds later, small flames began licking their way out of the toaster. The flames steadily grew larger and larger until reaching a maximum height of about 18 inches above the top of the toaster. Figure 4 presents a time series collage of the flames emitted from the SPT. Don't try this at home, kids. You will burn off your eyebrows. You will shave off your eyebrows with SPTs. At this point, there was some slight concern that the flames might take a considerable amount of time to diminish. There's no way a Pop-Tart has enough energy stored in it for flames to burn that long to where you're concerned. But yeah, this webpage is basically documenting incendiary Pop-Tarts. This website is called dqhotdog.com. I think this website is hilarious because basically this dude got served a really, really crappy hot dog from Dairy Queen, and instead of leaving a Google review about Dairy Queen, he made an entire website about Dairy Queen's crappy hot dog. This was from 2017. 2017, I hate to break it to you, was almost 8 years ago. Time is moving by uncomfortably fast. Also, that is a nasty looking hot dog. This literally looks like one of my friends. My family has had bad luck with the new local Dairy Queen in Dallas on Coit Road, just north of Beltline. We've been through the drive-thru every time except for once, and about half of the time our order was messed up when we arrived home. On New Year's Day 2017, I visited the local DQ around 12:30 p.m. I waited for over 15 minutes in the drive-thru, so I went into the restaurant to get my food. I was told that they were waiting on French fries, which should not take 15 minutes. When they brought my food, I quickly checked to make sure that it was correct. Well, since the last time we ordered a plain hot dog, it was not plain, I checked the one I was just given. The above picture is what I found. I showed it to the manager and he offered to make a new one, but I told him that I did not want to wait any longer and I left. So beware, if you don't like your Dairy Queen hot dogs looking like they died an unnatural death, then get the chili on the side and make sure you get a look before you bite, because who would want to take a bite of a hot dog like the one in this picture? I asked DQ headquarters for my money back twice, because I will not get food from that restaurant again, and they ignored my request. So I decided to spend money to put this lovely picture online. Dairy Queen, please take care of your customers when you make mistakes. And then he has a bunch of extra additional articles about how DQ sucks, and it's just a bunch of links to other things that shit on DQ. Gazoogle.net. Hashtag Gazoogle, for all y'all biatches who want to find shiznit. Search for a general topic, current news, or even paste a webpage link to get it transizzled. Nah mean? That's crazy. What came first? The chicken or the egg? Google dis shiznit. Chickens lay amniotic eggs, a trick they inherited from their reptilian ancestors. Right back in your ass. So that means that the egg came first before the chicken. Which came first, biatch? The chicken or the egg? Okay, wow, what a riveting website. Thank you. Stinkymeat.net. Now I'm gonna put a gross warning here. This is a really gross website. If you are squeamish or if you have a weak stomach, don't watch this part. Okay, this website is my favorite out of the entire lot of websites that we have. This website is called stinkymeat.net. Most people don't need a website to find stinky meat. So basically this dude gets just a plate of meat and then he just goes and leaves it in his neighbor's yard just for days. And he gets people to help him out doing it. And over time the meat starts to rot and he takes pictures every day and uploads them to the website and documents it as he goes. But all the while his neighbors don't know about it. Here's what happened when I took 3 kinds of meat, 19 days, and 1 million maggots and stuck them in the yard of my unwitting neighbor. Of course, the neighbor eventually found the meat in his yard. Fortunately, I wasn't arrested, so I'm free to do it all over again. Check out part 1 through all 19 days worth. Meat purchasing day. Went to the store on a meat hunt. What was I looking for in my meat selection? Freshness, price, and texture. Nabbed some ground beef, expected to disintegrate within 3 to 4 days. Total cost $2.57? $2.57 for ground beef. The average price of retail ground beef in 2024 so far is $5.35. Preservative heaven. I think these dogs have a better chance of being carried off by a wild animal than to decompose. In fact, these could potentially extend this project to well over a few years. I wish there was a half-life printed on the label. Price, 99 cents. Total cost, $3.56. I wanted a middle ground as well, so I decided a firm steak would do it. Steaks are not cheap, and so I opted for a lonely, reduced quick sale slab that still appeared edible. As I picked it up, the saran wrap covering promptly unfolded and gushed beef juice onto my hand. I bought it anyway. Price $3.75. Total cost $7.31. Tomorrow I will go next door and plant it all on my neighbor's lawn. $7.31 for all that meat is crazy. I wish you could buy that much meat for $7.31. Day 2. The meat has been planted. A little frozen, but generally looking good. I arranged the meat on the plate and walked across the block to my neighbor's yard. Oh, this is an across the block activity. Awesome. I had enlisted a little help. Chad, the official stinky meat assistant, kept a close watch in the surrounding area as I tiptoed across my neighbor's property and placed the meat on the ground. I think we were undetected by the neighbors. However, a passing motorist took some notice of us. Hopefully they wouldn't be able to identify us in a lineup. So far the meat is scentless. It began to thaw while we were there, and by tomorrow I'm hoping to have some large blobs of naturally warmed beef. Day 3. Hot meat. Ooh. Ew, all the blood on the plate. Sunny day today. Pretty dang warm. Not only has the beef thawed out, it actually looks like it's been partially cooked. And the coolest part, bugs! Got a couple of big flies and about 50 ants. Some were swimming in the juice pool. Apparently they were enjoying themselves. The steak appears to have taken on a rubberish appearance. That's disgusting. I didn't think to touch it to verify. The ground beef looks evenly browned, however the hot dogs don't seem to have changed in any fashion whatsoever. There is no smell yet, although I didn't get on my hands and knees to check. I think I will only consider this officially stinky if I smell it as I approach from across the street. At this point, I personally don't think I'd eat this meat. However, under the proper circumstances, I believe it would still be possible. Proper circumstances to eat this meat? The color's already altered on the meat. I don't think there are any proper circumstances to eat this meat. I think the only way to eat this meat at this point, at least for me, it would be to incinerate it and then mix the ash into a shake. Day 4. Gross. Yeah, that looks gross. There appear to be some white bits forming around the ground beef. I don't know enough about flies to assume they are maggots, but here's hoping. I had no idea that meat juice would start to congeal if left out for an extended period of time. Interesting. The hot dogs still look pristine. Find this to be highly disturbing. It rained a little bit today. That's even more disgusting. And so it looks like the liquid surrounding the meat has now doubled. I notice a definite stench as I approach the meat. Things are turning out nicely. There's still a few things I'm trying to figure out. I need help determining whether or not those are maggots. My friend, those are eggs. Yada yada yada. Ants on the wiener.
I impaled this wiener on the wiener. This was the El Capitan of wieners.
And he goes out and takes a picture and he finds a cricket on the beef. Whoa. Day 6. Nauseating. I can't believe the ground beef has survived this long. The outermost area has hardened into a shell, and I think it's protecting all the soft goop inside. The steak has grown some white spots. I think it's mold. It's becoming hard to approach the plate. The smell is 10 times worse than yesterday. I can't discern which item is the stinkiest, but I'm not sure it really matters. The ants couldn't penetrate the hot dog defenses yesterday, but they're trying again today. For some reason, I'm betting on the dog. Day 7. Rain. A light sprinkling washed away most all of the bugs that were swarming around the meat. It's starting to look soupy. Disgusting. Oh my god, that meat looks awful. Oh! They live. The eggs have hatched. Oh man. What at first appeared to be glistening meat turned out to be hundreds and hundreds of baby maggots. They have quickly gnawed out a hunk of the ground beef. They seem to be having a great time. When I approached the meat, some of them stood on end and waved their little bodies back and forth. I think they were thanking me. The hot dogs are getting a pretty good tan. The steak isn't doing very well anymore. It's turning a deep purple color and looks oily. You know what else is purple and oily? John writes, $100 if you eat a hot dog, $150 if it's one that's been in the soup, $200 if you don't cook it. Sorry John, maybe 3 days ago. As it stands now, I can barely photograph it. Even if that's double in today's money, say $400 if you eat the hot dog without cooking it, you would have to pay me 20 grand plus the money that it costs to get your stomach pumped. And all the antibiotics that you're gonna have to take. Oh! Looks like chocolate milk got poured on it. First of all, the hot dogs look more appetizing now than they ever have, even when they were fresh. I had to check back to yesterday's pics to be sure, but it looks like 2 of the hot dogs are missing in action. Damn, some raccoon probably stole it and promptly died of amoebic meningitis. Yep, there has been a hot dog thievery. I checked the surrounding area, but they've vanished without a trace. I can't decide if it's exciting or scary. The maggots are eating and growing. The ground beef's lifespan has far exceeded my expectations, but I don't think it's gonna last much longer with these hungry kids. Chad, the official stinky meat assistant, was able to distract the neighbors while I took today's pictures. I don't think they're onto me yet, but to be safe, I am running over some excuses in my head in case I need to use them. I was just walking through your yard and happened upon this plate of meat. I can't think of any good ones. Day 10, meat explosion. Wow, that's a lot of missing hot dogs. I really wonder where those hot dogs went, and wow, that meat looks like a pancake. I can't even begin to explain what might have happened to the ground beef. It looks like it popped. New scents radiating off the plate are completely overpowering. I was unable to take today's pictures until I learned to maintain control over my gag reflex. Ooh, evidence. More hot dog disappearances. This time, some evidence was left. I'm guessing it was a desperate raccoon or perhaps an unwatched toddler. Dude, if a toddler took that, you are guilty of manslaughter. Seriously, that child is dead. The maggots are also gone. All the meat sprinkles are gone. I don't know if they grew up and flew away or if something else ate them. I don't like either scenario. I think I miss them. I miss your meat sprinkles too. Day 11, liquidized. I was wrong about the maggots. They're still there, just buried under the ground beef. I hate to admit it, but I was almost happy to see them. The beef itself has blorped outwards. It's filling the plate. I may have to go in before too long with the fork on a rescue mission for the steak. The hot dogs are completely gone. Even the chunko dog that was nearby has vanished. All attention is now being focused on the goopy ground beef. Day 12, leftovers. The ground beef that is left is turning very, very pale. Large grubs are rolling around, but other insects apparently don't want anything to do with the meat anymore. You can now clearly see the styrofoam that was permanently adhered to the meat from day 2. Oh my god, that's disgusting. That's awful. The steak has hardened into a leathery, solid object. I was unable to puncture it with a nearby stick. I doubt it could be done with the fork. I may have to use a spatula to pry it out from under the ooze. Day 13, maggot zoo. That looks like a dead animal in there. That literally looks like a dead, overturned mouse. I've been trying to decide how to end this whole thing. The stinky mate, Chad, refuses to go near the plate anymore, so persuading him to help with the cleanup is out of the question. Arson is quickly becoming a realistic possibility. Unfortunately, I think that the neighbor would notice that. I really don't want to touch the plate. I think the only real option is just to leave it there and pretend that it never existed. I'm gonna try really hard not to look at that picture. Day 14, putrid perfection. At that point, that just looks like a cow shit. The neighbor was walking around outside this morning. I had to wait until the coast was clear before sneaking into the yard. I have to wonder if he was trying to identify the source of the rancid scent. This could be a potential problem. Day 15, rancid residuals. It rained a little this morning. Can maggots drown? My guess would be yes, since they are all over the outside of the meat, gasping for air. They are looking large and healthy. I am so proud. You go, Meat Sprinkle Dad. Basically, he just details how it turns into goop. That's not meat anymore. First of all, apologies for the blurry picture today. It's hard to hold the camera steady when you are desperately trying to cover your mouth and nose. It rained today. Hard. The steady pounding of water has done something very odd to the plate of meat. I don't see very many maggot grubs anymore. The ones that I do see are very dark colored. Are they dead? Did they drown? Or do they turn dark before they fly away? Did all the others get washed away or hatched? Some of them were twitching, so it's hard to say. Oh, he's poking it. Good God. As for the meat itself, I am speechless. I brought my stirring utensil with me, fully prepared to churn the goop in full circular motions. Instead, I found it resisted all my attempts. So it uncongealed itself and then recongealed itself. It has somehow become a singular solid object. The picture above demonstrates its elasticity. It reminds me of fake rubber vomit. This gives me horrible ideas and makes me wish I had enemies. Day 17. This was once meat, I swear. The meat doesn't smell as much when it's wet. It smells just as bad as ever, just in a lesser concentration. Just when I thought I could almost handle it, I inhaled raw stench. I couldn't swallow properly for at least 10 minutes afterward. I do not blame you. Day 18. The stinky mate hath returned. Not on his own, however. I had no option but to bribe him with beer. The stinky mate says, "Sorry I haven't been around. I've been quite sick. I had a bacterial infection in my stomach," which is entirely unrelated to the disappearance of the hot dogs. Sure. I believe that. Also, getting a bacterial infection in your stomach sounds kind of crazy. I told him it was okay, gave him a reassuring pat on the back, and we rolled up our sleeves and got right to work. The stinky mate began a brutal battery of tests, most of them somehow involving poking the meat repeatedly with the stick. Findings were inconclusive. Dude, that looks crazy. You can see the styrofoam moving steadily farther from the organic mush in a sort of Pangea continental drift fashion, and that meat really has no altitude whatsoever. Day 19. Damn it. If you were wondering where the beef went, so am I. The stakes were just going up too. I was offered $1,000 to take a bite. I guess we won't be able to find out how much cash it takes to make me do something really, really awful. If you look closely, you can see a small brownish splatter on the left-hand side of the ground where the plate was. Yes, right there is that brownish splatter. That's all that's left of the meat after the neighbor's cleanup. I repeat, damn it. The stinky mate and I stood there, stunned that the neighbor didn't find the meat earlier. At this point, I honestly wasn't expecting him to find it at all. As we were wondering what to do next, we suddenly heard voices coming from the neighbor's house. Excited voices. Voices that sounded like, I see someone out there looking for that plate, go get him. I opted to not test out the excuses. We wasted no time. The stinky mate and I ran like hell. I continued to document the event with pictures. Here's a picture of stinky mate running. I returned a little bit later and did almost the unthinkable. I rummaged through my neighbor's trash, hoping to at least salvage the plate. Nothing. 18 days worth of festering beef gone without a trace. I almost feel like a victim. So that's it for now. I appreciate all the support I've received for this, so much that we're discussing doing it all over again using different products and a different neighbor. Some call it immature, I call it educational. Details will be available soon. Check back shortly, Malone. And yes, he does do stinky meat again. Anyways guys, I hope you had fun viewing this video with your eyeballs and listening to it with your ears. Hopefully you didn't get too grossed out. Bye.